I think we need to talk about the phase 1 of Andre 3000.
The garbage bag?
No.
The
Garbage
box.
bag, the box.
Oh, yeah.
The mystery box.
Yes. Welcome to the first episode of Bazaar, the podcast that puts you front row for fashion and the culture that surrounds it. I'm Arielle Katos, Digital Director at Harper's Bazaar. This podcast is here to curate what matters, from the trends shaping the moment to the voices redefining what's next. And there's no bigger day in fashion than the Met Gala. So it only feels right that we begin here. Today I'm joined by Bazaar's fashion director, Jessica Steuart-Hoyler, and senior content editor, Sophie, Howe, to break down the night's biggest red carpet moments.
Hi. Hello.
This is episode 1, and we'll be bringing you some surprise guests as we go through today, sharing their expert takes on this very special Met Gala. We're in, I think, hour 8 or 9 of Met Gala coverage?
Yeah, and it's a huge day. I mean, we all got to the office first thing this morning. We've been really in it all day. Like, it's one of the biggest days of the year for us.
Absolutely. We've been in a room all together, and I think this is a nice way to cap off the coverage that we have been doing across harpersbazaar.com.au and of course the Instagram at Bazaar Australia. So into the theme. The theme is Superfine, Tailoring Black Style, and it's a tribute to Black dandyism and the rich tradition and sartorial expression that surrounds it. The Met Gala's theme draws inspiration from the Costume Institute's spring exhibition, which was influenced by Monica Miller's influential book, Slaves to Fashion. The focus of this book is how tailoring and style have shaped Black identities over centuries, with a spotlight on the concept of dandyism. And if you're not sure what a dandy is, think sharp suits, bold colours, and creative self-expression. Some powerful dandies on our reference boards. I think we need to make special mention of Andre Leon Talley. We've had Grace Jones over the years. We've had Prince. We've had Janelle Monáe as a modern dandy, A$AP Rocky, which kind of takes us to our co-chairs. We've had this year co-chairing, we've had Colman Domingo, Lewis Hamilton, A$AP Rocky, Pharrell Williams, and LeBron James, who was named an honorary chair for the first time. Unfortunately, he was not there due to injury. One of the most important things about dandyism is it's about self-expression and it's about individualism. And in saying that, it is so nice to have this lens on fashion. It's such a treat. Being super aware that, there's 3 women on the couch. I do also just want to say we've got one of our friends, Tyler.
Hi.
Hi. So Tyler is a style writer. He's from Esquire Australia, which is part of our stable. And not only is he our Gen Z correspondent, but he's also an expert in menswear.
I think on that note, let's start breaking down the red carpet. And I think we should start breaking it down by trends. So Jess, as our fashion director / fashion guru, do you want to kick us off with the first trend that you saw on the red carpet?
Let's do it. I think this is such an incredible theme this year, and what a delight to see the way that this is played out and different interpretations of the theme. Of course, bespoke tailoring, suiting is paramount. We saw opulence and glamour. We saw more minimalist looks. We saw kind of gender subverting elements, and we also saw the way that it was also embellished, and there was texture and there were accessories. So it's interesting to see how that played out. When it came to opulence, I mean, Teyana Taylor at the beginning coming out, and her look from that to Doechii's LV look, the short suit, which was such a fun take on the theme, to Walter Goggins in Tom Brown, who had such incredible looks, on the night. I love that he was wearing a skirt, which again kind of speaks back to kind of that gender identity through Black dandyism.
I think we have to mention, going back to Walter for a minute, the White Lotus cast. They've had such an incredible year, and getting to see Amy Lou Wood, who was also playing on suiting as well with her look.
She looked great.
She's stunning. You know, as you said, Soph, because we've all been in a room together all day and, you know, been looking at these images. It's nice to see a different side of Amy Lou.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't seen her like that before. Like, I haven't seen a red carpet moment for her like this. And it was really cool to see the jewels on her. Like, the Cartier was just stunning.
Oh, that Cartier brooch.
Yeah.
And then she had those amazing earrings and the ring. It was stunning.
The whole look and the hair, the slick back hair. I think she looked incredible.
Yeah, and then contrasted with Patrick, who was her buddy for the evening.
Yes.
Like, he also knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you know, he's famously recently engaged, and so I did think it was an interesting move walking in with him, just in the wake of the Amy Lou Wood and Walton Goggins blocking and following each other. If you're not familiar, we'll drop a link in the notes, so you can go and have a bit of a read about the law there. But definitely, all eyes were on the cast members of the White Lotus, and I do think if we're talking to suiting as a moment, I have to talk about Rihanna.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So for context, we're all watching the stream, and, you know, it was almost at a point where you're turning away from your computer, the stream's over, and Rihanna comes in, and I think everyone just gasps at that moment.
Yeah, we all basically squealed because we had looked away, the live coverage had finished, and then we saw she popped up in her look with the bump reveal.
Yeah, baby number 3 for her and A$AP Rocky.
So exciting.
Loves a bump reveal on the red carpet.
Loves it.
Only Rihanna, I think, is one of those people that she understands the assignment. Every year she comes in and she brings a theatre to the Met that we expect. And I think this year she really did it with that reveal, but also she had the hat, she had the corsetry. You know, she really brought a bit of leg.
She looked amazing. It was full Marc Jacobs. I think I love the incorporation of the little bolero jacket, even the shoe. It's like a take on tailoring with the mule.
I think that moment that we saw with Colman and Lewis in the beginning, it's definitely been a viral moment online. We had the gospel choir singing Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Did you guys see that?
What a start.
What a start. I've not seen a choir on the Met Gala carpet. Like, that was the music was a new introduction for them, I think.
I mean, I think it was just perfect to set the tone.
It's one of those moments that I think was an early contender for one of the most viral moments. Speaking to trends, and, you know, one that we sort of touched on, but Colman Domingo in that amazing Valentino cape, such a regal moment.
Yeah.
Let's talk a bit about embellishment and opulence.
Yeah. I mean, he talked about on his red carpet interviews how choosing that blue was sort of like the kind of thing old kings wore, you know, and there's, speaking to himself as an actor, like, there is that drama to it. And it was a surprise to see him take it off like halfway up the steps to reveal like that black and white Valentino suit.
Yeah, which, now that I think about it, there were quite a few dramatic reveals on the red carpet this year. I mean, we had the bump reveal.
Yes.
We had that. We had the cape that we were just discussing. And then we also had the F1 moment.
Right.
Yeah, so the F1 moment was Damson Idris, who sort of like walked onto the red carpet in this, I don't know what you call it, fire suit, pit suit, race car thing.
Yeah, racing suit.
Racing suit.
Uniform.
Yeah. Official Tommy racing uniform.
Yeah, and he walked on with like that bedazzled helmet, which I felt was a bit like very Top Gun.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, is this just going to be like a mascot thing? But like the attendants sort of flanked him on both sides and like ripped off the racing suit to reveal this checked red double-breasted suit by Tommy Hilfiger. And for those of you that don't know, Damson Idris is going to be playing a character in the upcoming F1 movie across Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely like a year of performances for the guys.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, not to fly past the fact that Lewis Hamilton has just come off the Miami Grand Prix.
My God, yeah.
So, I think we've seen, and it's almost a podcast topic that we could do on its own, which is that the F1 has really become, the pit style has almost become as big as what's happening on the track. And so to see that fashion play in with the Met Gala and be one of the early kind of moments that everyone was talking about, it felt very fitting for this moment. Moving on, let's do our next trend.
Okay, so I think, tying into tailoring, I think that pinstripes, stripes play such a important part when it comes to the history of tailoring as well. And we definitely saw some really great iterations of this on the red carpet. I thought it was really interesting to see how Law Roach had approached this with his clients.
Yeah. Before we go into his clients, I just think it's a little bit of context for Law. He's working with Burberry this year as their image architect. And Jess, you've got a lot of experience working with Burberry. Could you tell us a little bit about, this moment for them and kind of what the significance of them choosing Law to dress their guests?
I think that Law is such a prolific figure in the industry, and he brings such a wealth of knowledge and insight when it comes to any project that he works on. We know that he's worked with Zendaya for years and years. They have such a close relationship, and he has, he is an image architect, as he has called his title. So the partnership with Burberry is a really kind of prominent one.
Burberry's very much having this renaissance at the moment. The Burberry bikini is viral again for the first time with summer in the Northern Hemisphere. And I just feel like these are kind of the early precursors that we see as a brand is about to almost bubble up again and become part of the zeitgeist. So I think, them...
For him to collaborate with Law.
I think we'll be seeing a lot more as we go into the new collections and throughout the year. This was kind of the start of Burberry's, potentially Burberry's new moment. I think pinstripes have kind of been bubbling away. We've had, the office siren trend, and we've kind of had this kind of corporate look creeping back in. So talk me through kind of some more interpretations of pinstripes on the carpet.
Pinstripes were rife on the red carpet and they looked incredible. One of my favorites, Nicki Minaj, styled by Law Roach in custom Tom Brown. Can I just say Tom Brown winning?
Yeah, he's the unofficial winner of the Met.
The MVP.
Yeah, absolutely. So many of my favorite looks by Tom Brown. But this was a really interesting look because it was a deconstructed pinstripe. You had the top, you had the skirt with a beautiful fishtail. It was super sculptural. It really spoke to that kind of precision tailoring. And it was inspired by, as Law Roach was explaining, the Quantrell. So it's the female counterpart to the dandy. And so, what am I saying? It's all about it being perfectly tailored, perfectly fit. You saw that perfectly sculpted waist and adorned with, a beautiful brooch and the details. I think that it was really interesting to see him mention, the female version of the dandy.
We were discussing earlier the Andre 3000 of it all with the piano, which we
have to
were
mention the
confused
piano
about at first. It's been the one I keep talking about because it's my favorite thing. But it's then we worked out that it was actually it coincided with his upcoming instrumental project.
I think we need to talk about the phase 1 of Andre 3000.
The garbage bag?
No.
The
garbage
box.
bag's the box.
Oh yeah,
the mystery box.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I think earlier in the day, and a lot of celebrities are making their hotel departure part of the theatre of what they do. But someone stepped out at that point, we didn't know, in a shipping container looking box. We had no idea who was in there.
A giant pink box.
Yeah. And then, he revealed himself to have a grand piano strapped to his back, with Soph, as you said, a trash
The
bag.
trash bag. I can't get past the piano and the trash bag.
Yeah. It's really flummoxed you the whole day.
I
know.
Look, I think it's practicality. I think he's got some SPF in there. He's probably got some water.
Yeah,
The
BYO piano.
essentials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know.
It's giving the IKEA bag when that was
Oh,
back.
yeah.
You know, it's maybe this is the new
It's a
IKEA
$1,000 IKEA bag. Yeah.
exactly.
I kind of want to move along because look, there are so many looks that, you know, that I kind of want to get through and talk to. I do want to talk about the white suiting of it all.
I mean, there was a lot of white, really sharp white suits that looked incredible. I know that, you know, you called it early.
Yes.
One of your favorites.
I ran through the door saying Zendaya.
Yeah. Yeah. You were sold.
Yeah. Love at first sight, I think, for me. I think, you know, with Zendaya, she so much is known for being OTT, and she really creates almost transformations. She's been Cinderella. She's been, you know, the night and the day of it in the garden last year. And this year she just stripped all of it back. And I think it was just as loud for me as if she had done something so as big as she had done before. That simplicity of it for me was so beautiful and stunning. And the hat, which was another key trend that, you know, we had.
I also think that actually the tailoring and the precision of the cut is what really speaks volumes.
With the tailoring, and it's so important to look at the stature and really look at the silhouettes. And I think Zendaya being, you know, so beautiful, the way she carried that on the carpet for me was just like such a joy. Like, talking to accessories, take me through trend number 3.
The role accessories play here is that they sort of like add little moments of individuality and self-expression, whether it be, one of my favorites was Caleb McLaughlin, who is one of the stars on Stranger Things, and he wore this suit by Dior, designed by Kim Jones, and sort of just like perched on his shoulder, just a bunch of keys and tchotchkes, little bric-a-brac, domestic debris sort of thing.
I love that word, tchotchke.
I love it too. Yeah, I didn't know how to spell it before today. But yeah, I mean, it's just a way to, I guess, really show what's important to you. And I think, yeah, that's sort of the role accessories have played throughout the history of the Black Dandy. Yeah.
I love it. I think, you know, again, though, there's been so many people that nailed the theme. There's been some, I guess, that maybe crept through without us noticing. I think Kim Kardashian usually, you know, is quite a divisive attendee. This year she was very restrained, I thought.
In Chrome Hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of a Diamond and Pearls reference. I think that's a reference to Prince, a Prince song for the 80s fans. Interestingly, though, talking to that and looking at kind of croc and leather, we had Miley Cyrus.
Oh, heaven.
Yeah.
Loved her look so much.
She looked incredible.
Yeah.
That Alaya topped off with Cartier, and the texture and the minimalist kind of, you know, beauty vibe. Oh, I mean, she looked amazing.
Another one who usually is so extravagant. I think she's really having a year. She's releasing an album this year, and with each single she's doing a bit of a Beyonce lemonade. So it's a concept album, and there's going to be a new video with each song. And so last night at the Moncler pre-party, she debuted her new song. And so this was very much part of her new era. And I just thought she absolutely nailed it. She was another one. If you're going to wear a crop top, that's how to do it, I think.
That is absolutely how you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the drop waist, it was amazing. Nicole Kidman, another one who kind of played with the drop waist silhouette.
Oh, yeah. I thought she looked incredible.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Balenciaga Couture. But going back to the crop top and also dropping a new song, Lord, and Tom Brown,
Yes.
and that grey kind of silvery, you know, floating top and that amazing skirt.
She looked amazing. It was somewhat understated, but I couldn't look away. I loved it.
I want to talk for a quick minute before we jump through to some of the beauty looks, but I have to talk about the people that weren't there because, of course, every year we watch for who's coming in and out of New York. And part of that game is, are they going to be at the Met Gala? So, of course, 2 days ago, Travis Kelce was spotted in New York. So, of course, everyone was immediately like, it's going to be Taylor and Travis. They were no shows. We had Hailey Bieber without Justin, which I think was quite strategic. If I was her PR team, I would have, with everything that's going on, I would have said, you know what, let's not draw attention to matters. So she was hand in hand with Kendall, which I know you were saying before was a little bit underwhelming.
I think they played it safe.
Yeah.
And fair enough, as you said, I think strategic probably, but they did play it safe this year. Kendall looked amazing.
Yeah.
We're all saying she looked incredible, but played it safe.
I think they both could have just brought something, you know?
Yeah.
We didn't see Bradley with Gigi Hadid.
We didn't see Timothy with Kylie.
No. Although, speaking again, playing it safe, what did we think of Kylie?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Edit that out. That's
Case
and
in
then
point.
Selena. So, like, you know, I think there were so many you know, this red carpet, so many people nailed it, but I just thought it was worth mentioning those that could not be with us, Blake and Ryan.
Indeed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I think strategically, I think they were right to step aside. You know?
And she's busy. She's on that another Simple Favor press tour.
Correct. Let's talk beauty for a moment. Alex Duffy, beauty editor at Harper's Bazaar. Welcome to the couch. Tyler, we're going to bring you back for favorites. Duffy, Duffster, as I affectionately call you. Welcome. Hi. So, talking beauty, take me through it. What are the trends?
Well, actually, I think this year was really interesting. Unlike other years where we've seen some really big beauty moments and trends emerge from Met Gala Day, I think this year was the year of the anti-trend.
Okay.
Like Jess and Tyler and you've all been speaking to the dandyism of it all, it gives so much opportunity to be individualistic and playful and really experiment with self-representation. So I think everyone really took that to heart and did their own thing. I noticed hair was obviously one of the biggest categories that the attendees played with. It's obviously very significant throughout history and holds so much meaning. So we saw lots of finger waves, which were a bit of a nod to Josephine Baker. We saw some really beautiful, big, bouncy, undone curls and afros coming back and plenty of braids too.
Yeah.
So I think that is really the space where a lot of our attendees played around and lent into their individuality and natural texture and even created some quite sculptural moments out of it all.
Yeah, definitely. And I think such a compliment to the accessories that we were speaking to. Talk to me about Doechii and that LV stamp.
I thought that was one of the cleverest things we've seen on a red carpet as of late. Obviously, Louis Vuitton is moving into makeup under the creative direction of Pat McGrath later this year.
Okay, is that confirmed?
It is.
Okay.
So excited.
I know, I can't wait. So I thought it was really interesting when I was taking a look at her beauty look and I thought, oh yeah, she looks pretty great. She's wearing a lot of sort of warmer red, berry, plum tones, which I think a lot of the attendees lent into. I think that's kind of like a seasonal kind of the colour mood that we're starting to see come through. But I noticed something on her cheek. And of course, she had the iconic Louis Vuitton monogram stamped onto her cheek, just peeking through. So I thought that was a really clever nod to get us paying attention to her face and maybe what's to come for Louis Vuitton.
Absolutely. And I think it was that perfect mix of something that was quite hard and soft in terms of playing with, you know, those different types of tailoring that we'd seen through the night.
It's bringing that out. That's Louis Vuitton mark somewhere a little bit different. Yeah. I think another fun little detail that caught our eyes was Lupita Nyong'o's bedazzled brows.
Oh my God.
She worked with a Chanel makeup artist to create her look and it was pretty elegant and glowing. I think she had just had a bit of a classic winged eyeliner look, but her brows were bedazzled in a really beautiful, like quite circular and defined shape. I thought that was really interesting too.
It was so chic because it was just the perfect little black twinkle.
Little something something.
Absolutely.
And speaking of adornments, of course, we can't skip past nails. Nails have been, when you think about Cynthia Erivo and the Wicked tour last year, they were such a big part of her beauty look. So she brought back her big ornate claws this year, as did Doechii, as did Cardi B, Doja Cat, Lizzo. I think manicures are really stepping up, and I think it's time that more of us play around with what we're doing with our nails.
What was your fave?
I think they're all just incredible. I can't pick a fave. I think Cardi B's were quite cute in the way they played. They were kind of quite textural. I feel like they maybe had like a velvet or a really like a different kind of metallic.
Yeah, I love
tape
that.
for tight and really beautiful with what she was wearing.
Yeah, I love that the manicures were fun. I feel like that was kind of the underlying vibe with a lot of the looks. Everyone had fun with it, and it wasn't just like polished, beautiful long nails or anything. It was adornments, embellishments, different colors, nail art, which love.
Even speaking of embellishments, Diana Ross had face gems on with her beautiful big hair. I think I even noticed that ASAP Rocky even had a diamond sort of gold something going on his pinky to complement his signet. He had his tooth gems on. I think that bling really got its little moment to shine too.
Yeah, it was so nice to see those moments of the diamonds peeking through each of the looks, as you said, with ASAP Rocky. Alex, thank you for taking us through the beauty moments. I think before we close this out, I'm going to give you guys all approximately 10 seconds while I talk to tell me who your favorite is and why. Sophie, I'm going to put you on the spot. Who is your favorite and why?
Okay, look, it was a hard decision, but it has to be Jodie Turner-Smith.
Okay.
Because
amazing.
I just feel like the trends that we went through, I feel like she basically nailed all of them. We've got patterns, immaculate tailoring, cinched waist, puffed sleeves, can't forget, huge hat. It's just
Stunning. I love that.
I loved it. It was a moment.
Jess.
Okay, this is hard. I feel like this is a hard assignment. So, can I have two?
No.
Okay.
No, you can have two.
I mean, I think that Iman looked incredible in Magda Butcherum. This incredible tailored like one piece, which looked like a suit, but it was a one piece. And she had, the hint of polka dots in the tie. She had the feather. She had the cane. I feel like it was quite understated, but really sculptural and interesting, and just really played with the themes in a really kind of chic, she looked incredible.
So beautiful.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Incredible. But I also really, really love Nicki Minaj in custom Tom Brown. I just think because there was just so much to unpack, with everyone who attended. But I loved seeing the kind of the history and the inspiration that Laura Roach had kind of explored with her outfit.
Yeah.
To me, I just thought it was just stunning.
Amazing. Tyler.
My one was Jeremy O'Harris in Balmain. So this one was a little bit of a costume for him. He is a playwright. And he sort of like came to the Met Gala dressed as Beau Brummel, which, a little fashion history, Beau Brummel is the patient zero dandy. He lived in 18th century England. He was the one who really revolutionized sort of like a standardized tailored look for men.
Wow.
And yeah, I love a little performance, and yeah.
Love it. Alex.
I love Doja Cat, which is really unexpected for me. But between the big shoulder pads and the leopard print, her blue eyeshadow with her red lip, I think on the red carpet she spoke about really wanting to embody, I guess, a gangster side and really represent like a madam, and that had me sold. I thought she looked incredible. She just really brought the attitude, and I don't think you can compete with that sometimes.
Okay. All very measured answers. Look, I
mean,
it.
We know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know.
Zendaya. I mean, I think she absolutely nailed it. I think it was such a delight. From the moment I saw it, I was like, it was just breathtaking, and it was so nice to see. And yeah, came in this morning, saw her up on that big screen in that meeting room that we were all in, and I was like, she's best dressed.
Yeah.
We're done. Let's go home. Call this thing done.
We'll see you in a white suit next week.
Yeah.
Don't tempt me.
With a big hat.
Don't even tempt me. But speaking of next week, nice segue there, Jess. Thank you so much, everyone, for making it to the end. I hope you enjoyed this very first episode of How Bazaar. Please check out bazaaraustralia.com.au. We will pop all of the links to everything that we've spoken about. You'll be able to go through all of the looks, the after party looks, the beauty moments, the jewels. It's all there. And we'll be back in your ears very soon. And follow us at Bazaar Australia in the meantime. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
you.